Okay, so that was my daughter, and she was calling me to let me know that she was home and safe and that school was wonderful and all those good things. So here we are. Simplify each of the following. Now, it doesn't say exactly to rationalize, does it? It says simplify. Remember we said that radical expressions are never to be expressed with a radical in the denominator. So when we say simplify, we're simply saying make sure there's no radicals in the bottom still. Okay, so they're not always going to come out and tell you, rationalize the denominator. They're going to say simplify, and you got to know that that means rationalize the denominator. Okay, so this one's different. These are binomials, binomials, binomials. Boom. To simplify a radical expression with a binomial radical. Notice it won't be good enough for me to multiply just by root 2, because multiplying by root 2 won't get rid of the root 3. It'll get root 6. Won't be good enough to multiply just by root 3 because I'll get a root 6 over it. It's just a mess. Try it if you want. But what I am going to make use of is multiplying by a conjugate. Now that is very exciting. So the conjugate, as we talked about in an earlier video, would be the same first term, the same second term, but with a different sign in between from this. These have to be the same. Why? Because it is 1. If this is positive and this is negative and this is negative and this is positive, it's not 1. Okay, and then you're changing things, so that's not cool. Brackets are your friends along the bottom. I'm going to multiply the top, so it's going to be 7 root 2 minus 7 root 3. And the bottom, well, I'm going to use my trick. This is a plus b times a minus b. That's a difference of squares. So it's going to be root 2 squared minus root 3 squared. So it's going to be 7 root 2 minus 7 root 3 over 2 minus 3, which is going to give me 7 root 2 minus 7 root 3 over negative 1. Now, that's ugly. We know like. We want to bring the negative up. But the negative comes up, it's got to go for the entire top part. Okay, so we brought the negative up, but it has to be the entire top. So now the negative's there. So if I put the negative in, it's going to be negative 7 root 2, positive 7 root 3. And I'm just going to rewrite that as positive 7 root 3, negative 7, root 2. And that would be my final answer. So be careful of that. See what happened. I took that negative, I made 7 root 2 negative, and I made 7 root 3 positive. And I put the positive in front of the negative because it looks better than this. Okay, it just looks better. Okay, as you can tell, I ran out of room for this one, so I will use another piece of paper to do it. We've got this, and we need to multiply it by its conjugate. Its conjugate from its denominator. So the conjugate for the denominator is going to be root 2 minus 3 root 5. Root 2 minus 3 root 5. These two have to be the same, otherwise you're not multiplying by 1. These two, same first term, same second term, different sign in between. So we expand the top, and we're going to get root 6 minus 3 root 15. Bottom, root 2 squared minus 3 root 5 squared. Root 6 minus 3 root 15 over 4 minus, now 3 times 3 is 9. Root 5 times root 5 is root 5 squared, or root 25. So now you've got root 6 minus 3 root 15 over top 4 minus 45 is minus 41. We don't like the negative in the bottom. I'm going to bring it up, but look what's on the top. Everything's on the top. So I'm going to protect it with the brackets. I'm going to put the negative out there. And I'm going to take the negative in. So the negative root 6 is going to be, the root 6 is going to become negative. This is going to become positive. Because it looks better to put the positive before the negative, that's how I'm going to write it. And that's my final answer for that question. Okie dokie. This one. Again, concerned that I'm kind of running out of space, so I'll do it here. 5 root 2 over 2 root 6 minus root 3. The conjugate for the denominator is all that I'm worried about. Don't worry about the top. I'm allowed radicals on the top. We good? So this is going to be 10 root 12. 12 is going to have to be reduced in a minute. And it's going to be 5 root 6. The bottom's going to be 2 root 6 squared minus root 3 squared. Now 10 root 12. 12 is 4 times 3. The 4 comes out as a 2. Two times 2 is 4. Root 6 squared is 6. Four times 6 is 12, 24, minus 3, 24 minus 3, 21. Notice we have taken the denominator to a rational number from an irrational. So we had an irrational number in the denominator when we started. We have a rational number in the denominator when we're done. Hence, rationalizing the denominator or simplifying. Okay, let's see where so I did that one. I'm here. Oh, let's see if I can get it done in the space that's here. Maybe I'll use a different color. Okay, it's only the bottom I care about. It's not the top. So I need the conjugate of the bottom. Brackets are your friends. Oh my goodness. So it's 2 times 3, which is 6, root 2 times root 2, which is 2, so it's 6 times 2, which is 12. That was the first one. The second one, it's going to be 2 root 10 plus 3 root 6 plus root 15, all over top of. Difference of squares here, so it's the first term squared minus the second term squared. None of these are like terms, thank goodness, so it's just going to be 12 plus 2 root 10 plus 3 root 6 plus root 15. 3 times 3 is 9 times 2, because it's root 2 squared, so it's 18 minus 5. Last I checked, that was 13. So it's 12 plus 2 root 10 plus 3 root 6 plus root 15 over top of 13. 13 is a rational number. That was not a rational number. Last but not least, not a rational denominator. It's conjugate. But sir, that's not a radical. Doesn't matter. I need the conjugate. The conjugate's what's going to give me a squared minus b squared. The fact that I'm going to get 2 squared is not a big problem. The top is going to be 10 root 2 plus 5 root 6 plus 2 root 3 plus 3. The bottom is going to be 2 squared minus root 3 squared. Oh, yuck. It's going to be 10 root 2 plus 5 root 6 plus 2 root 3 plus 3 over 4 minus 3, which is 1. So, thank goodness. And of course, I'm not going to write it like that. There. You don't need it over 1. You're good to go. Okay, kids, so your homework? La 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 la. All right, talk to you soon, and we'll see you tomorrow in class. Bye-bye.